Hello and welcome to the Kiwi Advisor Network podcast. Today's episode is with Jason Longo from Buddy Mortgages. Jason was originally part of another business and then went through the transition of starting from scratch and building out a new brand. He's got some really interesting tales. There's one in there especially about what you shouldn't do when it comes to owning a boat. But he's a great guy, comes across very genuine. You can see exactly how he would do well with his clients because he's got a very personable attitude. I really enjoyed this chat. I think you will too. And remember, you can count this towards your CPD hours. And if you like it or you get value from it, please share it with a friend. It helps a lot. So I'd really appreciate that. Otherwise, enjoy the podcast. Jace, mate, so stoked to have you in the studio today.
Thank you very much.
It's been a long time coming. I feel like I've talked to you on the phone for years now.
Yeah, pretty much. I think 2 or 3 years, and it's good to put a face to the name.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just stoked to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, absolute pleasure. I feel like we always have such good conversations on the phone, and great to have you in here in a more formal setting where we can.
Majority of the time, they're pretty good combos.
Yeah, some of them head downhill pretty quickly.
Yeah. No, it's all good though.
You've, someone I respect quite a lot in the industry, and I'm keen to hear about your kind of journey and where you've got to now, and also what the next step is. Because I don't know, maybe you can tell us about how you first got started. Were you previously in the bank or?
Yeah, my journey kind of started at 17, 18. In school, I decided to process checks at EDS part time.
Processing checks.
Yeah, processing checks. So.
I don't want to age this episode, but yeah, it's probably
You probably don't want to do that. Let's go to I worked at Westpac, and B&Z for a number of years in various roles, from being a bank teller to being a regional manager, and then from there I thought, hey, doing a great job for customers through one institution, but wouldn't it be awesome if I could give recommendations on a number of product providers instead of just one? And I kept finding a number of my clients years later would try and find me, even though I'd moved on to different roles between the bank. They kept finding me. So I was like, it can't be that hard to kind of start your own business and look at clients when you've got these clients coming back to you after so many years. So I just thought, hey, got into conversations with a few friends and got a bit of encouragement, and then thought, hey, let's give it a crack. So I started it maybe, what's it been now? 7 years ago. Yeah,
that was quick, eh?
Yeah, it goes really quick.
Quite reassuring those people are chasing you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
One of the guys has just started with who you met before. He had like a part-time hedge trimming business.
Yeah.
And he still gets calls from it now. And it was just like a part-time thing he did 4 years ago. But
nice.
Must be doing a good job.
Yeah.
And okay, so how did you make the transition from the bank to doing your own thing? Did you have a business partner, or what was the
yes, so I went in with a business partner. He had the commercial acumen skills, been in business banking and commercial. I had the residential banking skills as well as the risk element. I'd done a lot of life insurance sales for Westpac. So we joined up, and I guess some of the early stages, what kind of came through was having a really, really good brand. So spending a lot of money on getting a good brand and a good image, because obviously it's the face of your business. So we did spend a lot of money on that, and also on an accountant. It's surprising how many times I see a number of my clients' profit and losses, and their accounting fees are very minimal to, $1,000, $2,000, for the year. And it's like, well, what are you going to get for that? So having a really good accountant at the early start, especially when you're new to business, new to GST, new to PAYE and terminal tax, it's always good to get those professionals involved early in the piece rather than later. Because it just sets you up, because you totally get an understanding of kind of what your cash flow looks like. And also if you need funding early on, you've got some good forecasts or good projections. So it's always good to get an accountant
so
early in the piece.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just think, oh, no, would be sweet. And you go the first year, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, need an accountant.
And it's a lot harder to unravel a mess than it is to just do it right from the outset, isn't it?
100%, yeah. So, and also they're now part of quarterly meetings, our compliance meetings. The accountant comes along, as well as a few other key people like our digital marketing specialist and myself. And so it just kind of adds to that, I guess. Yeah, that
behind
compliance
the scenes.
piece.
So
Yeah.
the accountant, like you're a client of theirs, right? Rather
Yep.
than okay, and
And they'll turn up
that's
quarterly.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Well, we
Must have a
pay
good
for it though.
relationship. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're not turning up just because they like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no friends.
But
Well, good mates would charge you by the hour, would they?
yeah,
No,
definitely.
definitely no. Okay.
But yeah, I think that was quite a big keys to our success was the brand and the accounting from the start. But also, there's a few models that you can run out there. You've got the self-employed kind of contracting model, or you've got the salary. So we went down the salary route, where we just attract really, really good advisors that are experienced, and pay them a good salary, do a good job, and over time that pays itself off and keeps the clients happy, and you can build a sustainable long-term business. There's all sorts of models that work, but I guess in the end it comes down to that person that you've got in front of them, and what their goals and what their aspirations are, whether it's they want to be on a contract or whether they want to be self-employed. But I think, yeah, having a good model and sticking to that model but being flexible
Okay.
can really help.
Yeah. So if you
Yeah.
had somebody come through and maybe the salary model didn't quite work for them, they were like, no, I really want to do commission. Would you be flexible in that
Yep,
case or yeah?
100%. Yep.
Okay.
Just depending on that particular individual. But then it also has to be in line with what the business goals and visions are. So if it's not in line, then yeah, you would potentially not look at that candidate, or yeah.
Themselves out. But yeah, anything like that, if you're looking at the longer term picture, because that's, the key to retaining staff is just having a good enough goal so that they stay motivated. They want to, keep working hard towards that.
Yeah.
And the payment structure, even though it's one of those things that's not super fun to set up, is kind of the cornerstone of that, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And you can run into some short-term pain, especially during that training period, 6 or 7 months of training and getting aggregation and getting clients and stuff like that. But it really does pay itself dividends when you get the right person, that are in line with your goals and values. And it just, yeah, just good.
No, I agree. And I want to talk a little bit about building out branding for a business because I don't think I've discussed that too much. But like, how do you go about building out a brand and logos and brand colors? And
Don't
all
do
that?
it yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So don't come up with your name yourself because you're a mortgage broker. So you don't know what you're doing. So hire the expert people to do it. So we approached a few companies, and I guess they'll come up with the name, but they'll give you 10 different ideas. And they'll, I guess, go through the market themselves and build a bit of a picture, and give you that. And then they'll also create a brand for you. Um, and I guess make sure that it's unique. I think there's a number of financial advisors that go down the safe path and stick the same path. So you go to the website, there's pictures of houses and people and buying their first home and dreams. And if you look at a few of the websites, they're all the same. But when you've got that branding or specialist and you pay for good advice, they take a different lens upon it. And they can create something quite fun and quirky, but that is relatable and still professional. And I think that's something that I can't do, but the professionals can. So engaging in a good branding organization will stead you.
For sure.
stead you
Because you
good.
want to set yourself apart. Because, I mean, like service is one part, but you want to get people on the door and to, I guess, like build that brand and,
Yeah, and that credibility piece, it just means so much because you will get the referral from a friend or family member, but the first thing they're going to do is check out your website, or check out who you are. They're going to Google your name, and if it comes up with that professional image that's also a little bit different, but could be quite funny, but approachable, but professional, you are going to get that look and that opportunity.
Because
So,
your business is called Buddy,
yep.
which I love. Because it gives off the right vibe, It's
Yeah.
just having a chat with a bud, with a mate.
Yeah,
And-
and life's better with a buddy.
And
So.
there you go. So was that the same case as the previous business where you kind of like spoke to a company and they helped you set that up, or is that something that
100%.
came to you?
Yep, 100%. So name wouldn't come up with, a lot of slogans didn't come up with, just leave it to the experts. But what they do is deep dive and find out what your values are and what your expectations are, what your service level agreements, why you got into the business. And so they find out all this information about you and then they go away and collate it and come up with the name and the brand and guidelines on how you to stick to that brand, which is also very, very crucial so that you don't go off brand.
Yeah.
Um,
So is this on brand at the moment? Yeah, it would be, I guess, wouldn't it?
yeah, yes. Okay, maybe. Yeah, I better check with her afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. We'll send it to you before it gets released.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So do they give you like a big slideshow of, your business and what your values are and your brand colors and all that kind of stuff?
100%. Yeah,
That must be so cool to receive.
yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, it was it was a little bit difficult when you had like 4, 5, 6 names that you really, really loved. Um, uh, I had a few that I was kind of
Do you
stuck on.
want to share some of them? You don't have to. Give me one.
Well, okay, one. What was one? Scout.
Oh, Scout.
Yeah,
I like
you
Buddy
can
better.
Scout the best deal and things like that. So
I like Buddy better.
yeah,
Buddy is like a longer term thing.
it's funny though because I used to always harass, like, I always laugh at my partner. She's Canadian,
Yeah.
so she's always when we go overseas to Canada, she's always talking. Me and my buddies we catch up for a beer, and I'm like, me and my buddies catch up for a beer.
They do
Started
say
laughing,
buddies
they
quite
do
a bit,
say
don't
buddies.
they?
I'm like, it's mate, and then buddies just kind of stuck with me. So yeah.
Yeah, I think in the States and Canada they do say buddy.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
That's kind of how we say mate.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so funny. Yeah, so I'd never in a million years start up a financial advisory business in America or Canada and call it buddy, because it'll be like in New Zealand calling your business mate.
Yeah, mate advice.
Mate advice. It kind of wouldn't. I don't know.
might
It just
take
doesn't
that.
gel.
Hey, you could put a little accent on the E and call it mate advice. So it could be quite good. Yeah.
You'd be fine. Yeah, but no, they put it all together for us. And then they looked at the competition as well and thought, hey, we want to be different, and this is how we're going to do it. So we pitched it with, you'll find on our website, there's no people. It's just, there's cartoons, but professional in a way. So it's a little bit different.
I know the cartoons. We have similar ones on our website too. They're sort of, I don't know, nondescript, but just
Yeah.
people doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like them.
So it caters to me and I love it. And
Great.
I think I've had a lot of good feedback on it. So
Great. So worth the investment,
yeah,
surely.
totally. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because I look at a lot of advisors' websites and there's a lot that have just like put it up there. You can tell it's been like an afterthought rather than being intentional about it. So who would you recommend speaking to if they were going to go down the same direction? Do you have any people?
Yeah, so you got Amanda from Sea Change.
Okay.
She would be a person to definitely get in touch with about branding, about website. Yeah.
Yep. Sweet.
Amanda. And then there's a few other people. Hayden Raw, but he's no longer in the industry anymore, so I couldn't recommend him. But yeah, Amanda from Sea Change. She did an excellent job. So yeah.
Oh, awesome. Always good to get a little referral, eh?
Yeah.
And do you have a similar, like a referral thing in place with your clients? Do you kind of ask for referrals at the end or do they just give them to you? Does that work?
Good question. Don't generally ask. I think I just do a really, really good job. And they just tend to want to refer. Yeah, I don't, but I should.
That's one of those things.
100% I
Everybody
should.
feels that way, eh?
Yeah. If I get really, really slow, I might pick up the phone, but it hasn't happened in 7 years. So,
That's good.
So, yeah, I haven't really had to ask for a referral, but they just seem to come, which is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'd been in a business for a while. You had a business partner. You gone out, started your own thing. What are some key things that, you're like, oh, like I forgot about that. I had to get that going again. That you wish you'd, actually not even wish. Like, what are some things that you're surprised that you had to start from scratch again?
Oh, it was actually going through the whole website process again. That
Oh,
was,
right.
that took a big time. It was like, oh my God, I've got to do it again. But it was exciting. And I knew what to look for. So I knew what copywriters I wanted. I knew, how much, potentially I should spend on my particular brand to get the particular result that I wanted. So that was a lot easier. Some things were just second nature. Like you already have the relationships with the aggregators and the product providers. So changing that all over was actually quite seamless and easy. But at the time, it was very daunting and stressful. But if I look back on it, it was actually quite straightforward.
Yeah, some of the things that you dread the most are actually the easiest.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
those little hidden parts. You're like, oh, that's right. I've got to do this again.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I
totally.
feel your pain.
One kind of point was that everyone was on transitional licenses with their FAPs, but that period had ended when me and my business partner had kind of just wanted to go different ways. So I started my own entity, and I realized I couldn't get a transitional. I had to apply for the full. So I pretty much think I was one of the first, that they got the full license. And so that was definitely an experience. So I spent a lot of time with Steve Burgess from the Compliance Refinery, working with him. And then from there, now I'm just so confident that I've got Khan on my side to take it over and just go to that next stage. But that was definitely very complex and scary at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that seems quite scary
Yeah.
initially, and then once you get into it, it's like any type of administrative procedure that involves the government. You're just like, oh my god, this is
Yeah.
going to be hard. But once you start unpacking it, breaking through the jargon, it's not as challenging
You're
as you
realizing that
think.
you're actually doing it all every day.
It's just documenting
It's
it.
just documenting it. Yeah, 100% is all the regulators want us to show that you've had that advice. You do have to. Everyone has great conversations, and everyone's focused on their goals and helping them to achieve their goals. And you just have to show how you've done that and document it. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah,
But,
key part is good customer outcomes,
yeah.
and evidencing it. That's,
Yep.
when you break down why the FMA have done it, those
Yep.
are kind of the key points. So
Yep.
I think most advisors, that's what they're trying to achieve. So
Yep.
as long as you don't stray too far from that, I think you're going to be in a good position.
No, having a good CRM system like Trail, you can always just make a contact note. So if a customer makes contact with you, contact equals contact note. So you just always have that phone. And had a conversation, just note it down.
And just getting into those habits of just doing it. That's
And it's rewarding because when that client calls back a few months later, you already remember everything about them. You know what their kids' names are. You know what their
so
dogs'
crucial,
names
eh?
are. Because you're dealing with a lot of clients, so you got to remember all this certain information. If you forget some of those key points, like flick the button, you can just click it in the CRM and bang, it pops it up, and it's your last conversation.
especially for you, if you're calling yourself buddy, you got to remember these types of things. And it's not that you don't. It's just having it, like accessible right there and then.
Yeah,
That's the tough part. I'm sure if we had a conversation eventually, if I mentioned something we chat about previously, you'd be like, oh, that's right, this. But having kids' names,
Yep.
dogs' names,
Yep.
what dentists they take the cat to, that type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, mate. So you've got some help on the digital marketing front as well, don't you? That you've set up at
I'm
some
doing
point.
doing digital marketing. I've got a marketing manager that looks after that.
Yes.
Jess, and she's doing a fantastic job. So a lot of newsletters, doing a little bit of SEO and a little bit of social content. But it's just keeping it top of mind and keeping it updated and making sure it's fresh. I find sometimes advisors get so extremely busy, and that side of the business just, there hasn't been an update for a few months, or it's just not topical anymore. So you just got to keep that stuff up to date. Potentially, it doesn't bring in as many leads as you like, but the leads you do get, you cement that professional image, and it's well worth it.
They're almost
making
better
sure that-
qualified when they do come through.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a great podcast with Sarah Curtis last year.
Yep.
And she has a great system in place. She's got like a school that she helps people. It's like the first home buyer school, and just it's such a good idea because like over time she just gradually supports them, and then by the time they get to the end of the school, they're like in a really good position to either buy or they should be soon. And I
And that
think
education piece is crucial.
so similar. Yeah, or that education piece. It's just half the battle is with say first home buyers is that they come through and they've just got like a lot of questions. But you want them trained initially. For your blog articles, I haven't discussed on the podcast yet, but there's a tool that came out end of 2022 called OpenAI ChatGPT.
Yes.
Have you heard of it?
I've more than heard of it. I've used it to draft up emails for stuff. And
so
recently,
good.
yeah.
So-
I can make it more professional.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's Yeah, that's it. Make it more professional, make it
Yeah.
more casual. So if anybody who hasn't heard of it or seen it,
Yeah.
it's this chat bot where you can put in, I'd say basically anything, and it'll spit out some text. So to give you an idea, you could say, write a story about Warwick and Jason going to the beach and they find $5 and then buy a lotto ticket and have an amazing night. And it'll just write out the story, beautifully detailed and worded. It's not perfect.
I put in the other day because somebody just introduced it to me recently, and I was like, oh, whatever. And so I typed in, okay, put this then to them. How do you start a financial advisory business in New Zealand? And it just nailed it from like points 1 to 8. I was like, wow.
Oh, mate.
I was like, wow. That's pretty good.
Even
Like-
testing it, I said write an article about what is revolving credit for the New Zealand market.
Yeah.
And I said, great, but make it more casual. And it does the same thing and makes it in like more plain English.
Make it not copyright, please. I don't want to get in trouble.
Oh,
I wonder
man.
what it says if you said that to it.
Yeah. Well, I've seen, I use Reddit quite a bit, and there's a Reddit where people talk about it, and somebody's built a bot that can basically identify when it is built through that website. But yeah, I think there's machines out there. So I think for study, that's, if you're at uni and you were using this, how useful that would be. But I think, I don't know, I assume they've got technology that can pick it up. But it could be such a good one for time saving, like even just copying an email and saying, reply to this,
100%. Yeah. You can even type in like, I've got in our office in Royal Oak, I share some of the office space. We've got one business in there, and they just typed in, how do I look at doing restructure? It just typed in, bang, all came up, step by step, how to do it properly with, being above board and by law as well, just doing right by your people. And it's just so good.
It's it actually looking at it now, and like even just you mentioned that, part of me has this tiny bit of fear. You're like, but what's going to happen to everybody's jobs in the future? But then it must have been the same concern when computers, first came out.
Yeah.
It's going to take our jobs, but in reality, it just makes our lives easier.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no.
And so anybody who hasn't used it, I'd say definitely have a look. I think they're still doing like beta testing, so it's in the early stages.
Yeah, sometimes you get on and it's too busy.
I've also
you
seen the
had that?
stats. If you can try and time it when China's supposed to be asleep, because they're the biggest user by far. So sometimes in the morning, not that I use it all the time, but a couple of times I've like tried to jump on and look at meeting notes like questions to ask a financial advisor on a podcast.
Beautiful.
But they're so generic, and it's I don't know. I find it really, really interesting.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Weren't they kind of, there's first to get to 1,000, first to get to 100,000, first to get to 1 million subscribers. I think the company was like right out the gate, took like them. I think it was a couple of weeks to get to 1 billion or something like that users. So I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
No, I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me. It's I think Microsoft's bought out part of it. But when it first came out, one of the guys at work showed me, and I thought, I was like, my mind was blown.
Yeah.
And I remember that night I went to my friend's house. He's a real estate agent, probably quite close to Royal Oak actually.
Yeah.
And I was like, mate, you got to see this. It's incredible. I was like, do you have any listings at the moment? He's like, oh yeah, 3-bedroom Onehunga. I was like, what are some distinguishing features about it? He's like, oh, it's got a big backyard. And I was like, okay, watch this. And I said, write a property description for a real estate listing about a 3-bedroom house on Onehunga with a big backyard.
Yeah.
And it just went, grrr, and he couldn't believe it. It's like his jaw dropped. So yeah, a bit of a tangent, but it's certainly something that could affect the way advice is given in the future too.
True.
Yeah.
I've never actually thought about it for writing statement of advices.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I don't know.
Like it potentially could, like even in a tool, like Trail, like could that? I don't know, hope the boss isn't throwing me off this, but but like my thought is, could it? I don't know what stage of their development it is, but could they build like APIs? They're talking about a subscription model. Could you build that into a software product? It's. I mean, things change fast. So in 5 years, it could be a completely different space.
100. Yeah.
But one of the jobs that is least susceptible to automation or AI. I remember seeing this. This is a few years ago now, but probably further cemented because of this technology. They talk about jobs that are at risk for automation, and like right at the top you have things like truck driver, taxi driver, because cars are pretty close to being automated. Yep. And then right down the bottom is salespeople, because it's relationship focused.
Yep. I can see that. No,
so
100%.
even though mortgage advisors or insurance advisors aren't, there's an element of sales to it. It's still that relationship where I think the industry, I think your positions will be safe, but there's just other parts of it that will be completely different.
At the end of the day, people want to interact with people and they want to have those conversations because it's deep and meaningful. It builds that trust. And no matter what you do, or no matter what technology's brought out, it will still, I think for financial advice, you'll still need to have that good old face-to-face, either via phone, via Zoom, Skype, or in person, but you have to have that meeting. And without it, it's just, it's
agreed.
Yeah.
So I think, the future of the industry is really solid, but there'll just be some things that change. But it's exciting to be sort of early stages of that. Glad to hear that you're kind of embracing it.
Yeah, it was only last week. I found out about it. So, yeah.
Oh, mate.
It's massive.
I was even showing my mum about it. She's just like, okay, I've got Facebook and I use that and that's fine, but this is just too much.
This is just out the gate.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yep, cool.
All right, Jay, so do you do mortgages and insurance? I remember seeing for a time you were. Is that still the case?
No. So, yeah. No, you got a good memory. Yeah. I mentioned it earlier before. So no, your memory's not good. So
my memory is good.
Yeah, it's good.
I take notes.
I did do risk and mortgages for about 5 years. I found as my mortgage trail book built up and my risk trail built up, I was just getting inundated with too much work and I just could not manage it properly. Even with having client service managers helping you, it was still, the workload was just was too much, and it actually caused a bit of stress, and it just wasn't working. And so I made the decision to just give mortgage advice, and I have another person employed in the business that looks after the risk space, and that has freed me up to have much better and quality conversations with mortgage clients, and the volumes that I'm writing per year is just growing because of that.
That's so good.
Yeah. So just doing both, I don't recommend it. Those people that have done it, you can do it, and yes, you can get the qualifications in both, which I have, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Honestly, I chat to a mixture of people who do both, and some people love it and wouldn't look at any other way, but then there's like so many that are also in your position. They're like, I'd rather just stick to one. I think there's no right or wrong way of doing it.
Yeah, true.
But it's great to hear that, you've been able to bring somebody in, which is crucial, been able to kind of, because as a client who comes through, you want them to be able to, experience like the full suite of services and protect the asset that you're helping them buy.
Yep.
But I guess you need somebody in that position. And so when you hand over to your insurance advisor, I take it it's not super cold.
Not cold. No, it's always pre-positioned, and it's a joint interview. It's I tend to have the structure meeting with the client where we talk about the cashback and the term and how much is on fixed and what portion and what and why, and repayments and frequency and I guess the entities and which entities the loans will be in. But at that time, at the end of it, that conversation's about 20, 30 minutes, but the meeting's been booked for about an hour and a half, and it's because I've pre-positioned with them to bring into that meeting a copy of their current insurance policy document. So then it kind of hands off to, hey, here you go, here's your interest rate, here's your home loan, wow, here's your $7,000 cash, and then here's that conversation we're going to have about your protection plan. So as well as me presenting you a personalized plan for your home loan, we're also going to prepare you a personalized plan to protect your income in case something happens. So here's Kish. And so then he takes over. And so it's just double booked appointments, and they just work a charm.
Yeah, that's so good.
The conversion rate is extremely high when you do it that way. So yeah,
Most
especially
of
if
the
you
time.
give them some good cash back as well.
Yeah, that can be a nice little incentive. But
Yeah, if they ever bring up budget constraints or problems or issues, it's like, oh, well, hang on a minute. Got your first few premiums paid.
most of the time, people know it's the right thing to do. but because it's a grudge purchase normally, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like people, insurance is one of those things only 5% of people end up seeing value in, but it's something that's, I'd argue, is essential. So you need it in place, and so people don't procrastinate. Just get it done now.
Yeah, no, totally.
Perfect. And do you help on the KiwiSaver front as well?
No, at this stage.
You're
no.
referring it out, or
referring it out using Generate, Milford, but referring those conversations out to qualified people.
Right.
To have that conversation. So at this stage, keeping it simple, just giving people home loans and then protecting them in case they can't work. So
amazing. Okay. And what's next in your journey? Anything you're looking to achieve in the next kind of like 12, 24 months?
12, 24 months. Get married.
Get married? Okay, nice.
So having the wedding in November. So looking forward to that.
Mate.
I've been engaged for 5 years now. So and was affected by COVID. So
mate.
Yeah, so really looking forward to that.
Good to save up for a really big wedding though. Right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I've saved up.
Really extravagant wedding.
No, not that extravagant. Oh yeah, whatever. So got that on the cards. Want to do some more fishing.
You got a boat, don't you? That you share with your mates.
Yep, got a boat.
I love that.
So yeah, it's cool. So we got one down at West Haven there, and we always try to go out on it. But there's a story with the boat recently though.
Oh yeah,
Had a bit of a
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I usually don't like dating the episodes because we pre-record them, we release them later on.
Yeah.
But the floods recently that hit. So is your boat all good?
The boat's all good with the flood, but unfortunately the boat's not all good at the moment. Long story short, I don't even know how this kind of happened. Like I reversed it into the slip fine, turned it off, put the spring line on, the bow line, the stern lines, put it all together and, left it. And then my mate comes down to use the boat the next time and he just goes upstairs on the flybridge and turns the engines on as you do just to turn them over. But he didn't turn the electrics on downstairs. He just the
rookie
engine.
error.
Well,
It's the first thing you do.
Yeah, apparently. Anyway, but they were in full throttle and forward. So then the rope just went ping, 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 and then it just shot across the causeway and went up a yacht, $4 or $5 million yacht's ass, and just kept on gunning it like full bore. And these engines are like 480 horsepower each, Yanmars. So he had to go downstairs and shuffle the engine, the air filter, to turn it off because this turning off engine, like start engine, wasn't working. So we've had all the engineers out and the insurance and all that, and the advisors and the reports are that it wasn't fitted with like a switch that you're meant to have in every single boat and car, like an immobilizer that just you can't start it if it's in gear.
Oh, I see.
So every car's or boat's meant to be fitted with one of those, but ours wasn't, unfortunately. So that was one of the major issues.
Okay.
But then because I couldn't turn the engine off the last time I was in the boat, I was playing around with it, trying to do it. I managed to turn it off. Then apparently, this is what the insurance specialist said. I nudged the controls into forward and then turned the electrics off. So then when he turned it on, it was in straight into full bore.
Oh,
which
my
is
goodness.
just, and then we couldn't turn it off because the engine start wouldn't work. It was just
Okay.
it was just,
A calamity of errors. So what's happening now?
we don't have a boat for the summer.
Oh no.
And people are blaming me and my friend. And we can't decide whose fault it is, so it's none of our faults.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's no blame culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. What so wait, what happened to the other boat you crashed into? Does the insurance cover it or
This insurance covers it, but
good.
we got a call from the boat owner. He wasn't happy. It was his New Year plans were ruined and Christmas, and so yeah.
Oh no. I mean yeah, that sucks. But also
yeah.
you got a nice boat. Not everybody deals with adversity, but you got something else to do. You might be able to go to the batch or
Oh well, I've spent a lot more time at work, which is good. So I guess goals for this year and next year is looking at the acquisition of a few books, and also bringing on new mortgage advisor for this year, and potentially another client service manager. But then that's it for the year.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, we'll go quickly too. We're already like part way through the year. It goes like that, eh?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's February already. January, Feb.
Something I don't even know. I don't even know what month it is. And so your boat. Sorry to jump back into this. So when you gonna is the boat a write off or what?
No, it's only. I think our boat's only got about 40 or 50 grand worth of damage. So the insurance provider's looking after that.
Oh, no.
So I think it's Aon. So that'll be back in or Vero. It'll be back in the water March. Yeah, it's the end of summer.
Mate, that's painful, dude. Well, they say it's like the same with cars. Like most crashes happen in the car park. You know.
Yeah.
And
this is just out. It's unheard of.
I'm glad
It's
you can laugh at it.
ridiculous.
I'm glad you can laugh at it.
It was so scary for him. Can you imagine being on the top of that boat and both engines just going firing?
Full throttle and
Full
you just
throttle and you just can't do anything? You couldn't turn the engines off? It's just full throttle. All he was going down is just to, just turn the engines over. It was good times.
What's your boat called?
The Hauraki Hilton.
There you go.
Hauraki Hilton.
Is there some type of like sea superstition if you don't call your boat a female's name, it's bad luck?
I don't know about that. I don't know.
I think it might be.
Is there?
Oh, I don't know.
Female's name. My dad named our boat Sandy. Is my dad's boat Sandy? Yeah.
Might be time for a name
Hauraki
change.
Hilton. No, we like the name.
So recruiting a new advisor, how do you go about that? Do you use recruiters? You go on Seek? What's the process?
Combination. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no one model that kind of fits all, but you can go on Seek. You can use an agency. The best is knowing people that are already in the industry and people that you've worked for in the past and previous roles. The bank, a lot of people at the bank. There's opportunities there.
You know, one trick, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, but it was how Chuck found me, and he just went through his friends list on Facebook.
Yeah.
And just every person, do they have a partner or do they have somebody that might be a good fit? And he got right down to, or just going from A to Z, and he got to W and found me.
Oh.
And then messaged me and said, hey, you moved back to Auckland.
Where are you originally from? Yeah.
I was from Wellington, but I was living in London, and I'd been there for 7 years, and I'd met Chuck at a wedding, and he went to school with my partner. And when we were coming back, he just sent me a message on Facebook. He's like, hey, man, I can see you're looking for opportunities on LinkedIn. Here's the company.
Oh, sweet.
Like, what the hell is mortgage broking? So, yeah. No, but got like straight away, I could see, the vision of the company. He's great to work with, and I love the industry. So it's been a good fit. 3 years now, actually.
Wow.
A couple of weeks ago. So learn a lot.
That's awesome, man. No, congrats.
So, just to go back to what we're talking about.
Yep.
Going through LinkedIn, even just seeing people you connected with, maybe some ex-colleagues or people you used to connect with can be a good way of doing it.
Definitely. Yeah. And obviously having a competitive package always does help. So.
That's always crucial. You need to, it's like a fishing term, right? You can get the hook in the water. You need a nice piece of bait on there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you've got a boat, of course, and you haven't just crashed into a $4 to $5 million yacht.
Shut up.
Sorry, mate. Stick the boot in.
I didn't do it. He did it. I was actually working.
Yeah, true.
When he crashed.
Yeah.
So
it's
not my fault.
That's typical.
Not my fault.
Can anybody attest to you being on the job at the time? I don't think.
No. Can you imagine? No, actually they can. Yeah, you could look at trail. You could see the time, the timestamp. I was probably just,
probably just
doing an activity.
Working hard.
But can you imagine having footage of my mate?
There probably is footage of it.
Down at the West Haven? No, we've checked because we wanted to.
That could have been one of those internet viral videos.
Yeah, it would have been. 100.
Total idiot crashes boat into yacht in Auckland Harbour. Oh, mate, that's okay. So, I'm excited for your next journey, Jace. It's going to be.
Thank you.
You've kind of how long you've had Buddy for now?
I think a year and a half.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, a year and a half. Yeah.
So I mean, hey, in 6 months' time, if you survive that, you'll officially be a viable business. Or is it 5 years? I can't remember. The 2 year mark. Always
2 year mark. Yeah. No,
I'm
already past that because I've taken a book from 5 years from a previous company, so I'm okay. I think I'll be past the 2 year spot.
You'll be sweet.
Yeah, it should be sweet.
Nice.
No, but I think industry wise, there's just so much opportunity. There's a lot of people that need help this year. I think ANZ mentioned that 57% of their clients are coming off the 2-3% and going to the 6 or 7% this year, and so imagine that's double on your principal and interest repayment. So a lot of people are going to need help, and they're going to need good advisors to have those great conversations with. So it's, ample opportunity.
A lot of opportunity. And, you know, I think ANZ as well, they said that, 50% of their mortgages come through an advisor now. So we've got enough room to double.
Yeah.
So it's a good space to be in.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Oh,
So really, really excited. It's just, real busy time. So good
Great.
time to be an advisor.
Very good. Yeah. Okay. I'm stoked for you.
Yeah,
Oh, mate, thanks so much. I mean, it's been great hearing about your transition, starting another business, getting your branding set up, which is something that I think a lot of advisors probably just push to the back because they just focus on clients first, which there's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, it's been really good hearing about your journey, mate. Love working with you. Sorry about the boat. I hope it gets fixed soon so we can finally get out and catch a few whoppers.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, can't wait to invite you. Awesome.
Nice, bro.
All right, cheers.